when I switched over to the laptop. It was the first episode of Operation Anchorage. Like, where the episode where the frame rate smoothed
You
out.
started Operation Anchorage at episode 9?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like,
No,
he
sorry,
heard the
I'm
distress...
surprised you went for
no,
that.
he heard the distress signal, and he's like, huh, I should go investigate this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so, that was about the time I switched over to my laptop, and I couldn't take Pet Operator with me because I had switched emails, I forgot the password, and, I couldn't figure out how to transfer it over. This was back when, I was a bit dumb when it came to stuff like this. So what I got was my current program, which is called Speakonia, and this actually has a number of different voices I can use for Mike, including Mike in Hallway, Mike in Stadium, and Mike in Space.
In Space!
I think I used Mike in Space for one line during Salad Days with Matt and Mike. But otherwise, I've never used those. But I still use Speakonia because it serves my purpose quite well. How did this thing get on my current computer anyway? I don't remember how this got onto this computer. I probably transferred it over with the external hard drive. I don't know. But in terms of editing software, I use Sony Vegas, as I said, but I didn't always use that. I used to use Windows Movie Maker. And I used that for the entirety of Pal's Mind, actually. The entirety of Pal's Mind used Windows Movie Maker. Then, I had a small, I had a small, and I mean really small, go with Windows Live Movie Maker. But, like, I got, like, 1% of the episode finished. And I'm like, screw this. I'm going back to Windows Movie Maker, and I went and downloaded it.
You know that must have been bad if you're willing to go back to Windows Movie Maker.
I think, it was episode, 16, where I had to split the episode in half because it was too long. I had to take one half of the episode, render it, take the other half, render that, then put the two together, and then render it. And I'm like, okay, if this happens again, I'm gonna be mad. Then episode 17 comes along, I have to do the same thing again. And at this point, I'm like, I've had it with this. I'm getting something new. And so I got Vegas. For audio editing, the very few occasions where I have to do it, like I have to, add the echo and radio sound effect for Mike's voice when he's controlling, like, Liberty Prime, I use Audacity. And, for, other things, for, editing the, Mine logo together, I use, Paint.net. Which is borderline Photoshop, but it's a free version. It's a free thing that you can download that off the internet. It's a very good program. I use it for a lot of things. But I use that. I used to use MS Paint. I actually still use the original Paint for the Mine logos because I just erase the one episode title and put in another one. And I don't use Sony Vegas Pro 13 because that doesn't support custom fonts, and I want to use my current Fallout font. I have to use the Fallout font. I have to use the...
Careful. I think Ross Scott is calling for a copyright.
No, if I don't use the Fallout font, I'm going to go crazy if I don't use the Fallout font, because right now, I am at the peak of my abilities. I record the game in 1080p, I run the game in 1080p, max graphics settings, I record this with a blue snowball. By the way, that's my microphone, a blue snowball. I've gone through... Hold on. Here's the box. It's Micro Innovations microphone at one point. At one point I had this tiny clip-on microphone that's in here somewhere. There's like 10 microphones in here. And Audio-Technica Omni ATR 3350. I used that for one episode. That was the episode where he's in the cave and he's like, yeah, Mike, is the scanner working? Matt, your voice just changed. What do you mean? My voice hasn't changed for the past 17 years. Why would it change now? Well, it just did. Actually, now I'm starting to hear it. But I only used that for like one episode. It actually drove me nuts because I had to move everything into my closet and use that as a recording studio because it was picking up a bunch of echoes. And then Christmas the same year, I ended up getting a blue snowball, which is what I'm using now. And I've had this for little over a year now.
I might get one of those eventually. It's the one that's consistently recommended.
They are really nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah. I mean, can I go?
I can't think of anything else that I use, so go ahead.
Right. Okay. So so we're including the software. As far as so I used to use Fraps as well. I also pay for that one. This was back from season 1 till season 4. It was all Fraps, and Fraps was okay apart from 2 problems I had with it. First of all, bear in mind also the first 5 seasons actually were all made on a laptop, which were I love that old laptop, but it struggled with this kind of thing.
Yeah, same here.
And the problem with Fraps is that it does take a bit out of the performance, and I was struggling to maintain 30 FPS with it for a long time. And it's not only just that, but I've always had this suspicion that Fraps was somehow making New Vegas even less stable. If you can imagine that, because there were just like frame drops all over the place, and also I didn't like the fact that it split up files, the raw files, which just made things a bit more complicated than it should have been. So eventually, in season 5, I switched over to the X-Story, which is the other recording software that's very much recommended by a lot of people. And I did find a marginal improvement on performance with that, and it seemed to do everything I wanted it to. So season 5 was the result, and I actually, because of that marginal improvement, I dared to go 720p and with I dared to install a texture mod, even though that was a very basic texture mod. And I'm still using the X-Story now on my new computer, and 1080p, everything seems to be good so far. So for the time being, I don't see myself changing my recording software. My video editing software, now I considered briefly using Windows Movie Maker, but I didn't for one very special reason, which I know Hunter agrees with this, which is you can only have one bloody soundtrack. Sound like, you know what I'm talking about. You can only have one line of sound. Why would you not give us the ability to add as many as we want? I will never know, but this was the reason I didn't use Windows Movie Maker. I just didn't want to deal with that, and instead what I used was a software that came bundled with a capture device, which is what you use to capture footage from the television. A lot of people who makes like Halo Machinima would use this sort of thing. And this capture device, it was a Pinnacle. The company was called Pinnacle. I don't know what the capture device itself was called, but the software was a Pinnacle Studio 11, and hallelujah, it had 2 lines of soundtracks that you can use, and that was the only reason I used that. And I actually used that from seasons 1 till 4. It was all used on that. Unfortunately, that thing was a piece of shit, because every time you made any slight change, because when you track, like when you upload any file into the program, usually you need to wait for it to like configure itself, right? It needs to configure itself with the right like support files, which are usually invisible, but it needs to do that. And in Sony Vegas, it only needs to do that once. After that, you could manipulate it, you could shorten the footage, you could do whatever you want, and it will just do it. Pinnacle Studios re-render it every time you do something with the footage.
Oh god.
Yeah. It doesn't take a lot of time because it's just rendering a preview, but every time you do anything with it, it re-renders it. Sometimes it even just does that randomly. It's almost like it's trying to resync itself. It drove me insane, put it this way. And by the time I started season 5, I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna deal with this anymore. I'm just gonna buy Sony Vegas. And luckily, I found a very cheap budget version of Sony Vegas, which is gonna have to look this up again. Sony Vegas Sony Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum 11. Now, I highly recommend this because it's got everything that for me anyway, it's got everything that I want from it, from a editing software. You know, hallelujah, you can add as many tracks as you want. You can add as many footage tracks, you can add as many audio tracks, you can layer things, you can do all of that. Hallelujah. So, you can do that, and it costs, compared to like the Pro version, it costs like a mere fraction, effectively. So that's the editing software I've been using. As sound editing, it's Audacity. Like that's just pretty much standard. As far as hardware goes, okay, here's the problem. So I've also been through several microphones. There was a time when I briefly tried to get a standalone mic. Like traditionally, I've used just a headset with the mic attached, and as you might imagine, the sound quality isn't always great with those. But I try to mitigate that by removing noise in Audacity itself. And for the first, I want to say from seasons 1 till, oh man, for at least the first 3 seasons, I used one particular headset, which I don't even know what the make was. I just happened to have that thing lying around, and then it broke on me. And then after that, I got another really cheap one from, you know, just a department store somewhere. And again, that worked as well as I hoped it would. And but for season 6, I've actually got myself a proper sort of gaming headset with the mic attached, and so far it seems to be performing better than my original ones. Unfortunately, I have no idea what it actually is. I've forgotten what the name of it was, and I've thrown away the package. But I do have a friend who has the identical model, so one of these days I'll ask him what it is, and I'll post this somewhere so you guys know what I use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, should I do one?
Go ahead.
I'm getting close to. It's 11:45 where I am now, so.
Alright, we'll do like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, and then maybe consider. I still have quite a few left, so maybe we might split this video into multiple sections. Actually, we probably will.
The recording's been going for 3 hours.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! How am I still talking?
I have no idea.
Right. Okay. List of mods. Well, you just say you don't use any.
None.
You use well, bug fixes, I guess.
Bug fixes, but we don't have any of that for Fallout 3.
You don't have any for Fallout. What bug fixes do you use then?
We're only doing ones for New Vegas.
Oh, okay. I've heard that there's an unofficial Fallout 3 patch, which apparently is like the standard big bug fix for Fallout 3, but I've never tried it. Fallout New Vegas for me, I say go to Season 6, Episode 10 in the credit section, because that is the most comprehensive list I've made so far of all the mods that I use. Anything that's not on there, like if you see me do some kind of weird effect that isn't necessarily on that list, chances are that's not a mod. So those of you who are still with us and haven't stopped the video yet, what I said a while back about shooting the door open, that's not a mod. That's just me doing stuff. And similarly, hiding the text box, that's also not a mod. I will, one of these days I'll make a video tutorial on how to do it properly, but that's not a mod. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else basically is console commands, which I believe if you go on the Fallout wiki, there's a pretty comprehensive list of all the console commands that you need to use, or all the ones that are common, and they're pretty comprehensive. So look that up. You got any questions?
I'm looking through right now.
Yeah.
You want to do a quick one while I'm looking?
Define quick.
I don't know.
Uh, uh, Crap. Oh, okay. Here's a generic one. What did you think of the last episode of Freeman's Mind?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, fair enough. I've watched it. It's pretty good. Although I dare I say I'm slightly disappointed in how he dealt with the encounter with the G-Man in the end. I can't really make too much criticisms because really, if you look at if you actually play that part of the game, the G-Man, he doesn't really leave enough pauses for you to actually say anything in return. And traditionally, I think in Freeman's mind, Ross has always been taking this sort of like ignoring the story almost kind of approach. Like whenever a scientist try to tell him like a piece of the plot or try to tell him where he should be going next, he generally just ignores them and just say, no, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to get out of here.
One of them he literally shot in the face.
Yeah, so
right as he got the shotgun.
So usually the story is like second. It's like on the back burner. Like his approach seems to be kind of like yours actually, which is that he stumbles into things rather than like he go here because Freeman wanted to go there, or he goes there because Freeman knew he had to go there or something. So I guess from that perspective, I kind of expected him not to like take the G-Man too seriously or something like that. But I don't know. It's also, you got to remember this has been a very long running series, so I think a lot of people had really high expectations for the last episode, maybe a bit too high for their own good. So I don't know. Last episode, I liked it. Just I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe not quite as bombastic. I don't want to use that word, but yeah. Do you have a? Well, no, you said you don't watch it. You didn't watch it, so.
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay. Anyways, do you have a question now, or?
Yeah. What games would you recommend for my series?
Here we go. We've been through this already, but here we go again.
All right.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up my Steam. Well, all right.
Yeah, so the two of us
basically
have actually
pretty much anything with a silent protagonist. But I did have this one really dumb idea for a Kerbal's Mind, where it was just he was sitting in the chair in real time with no time acceleration. Him sitting in the chair in the command module going to the mud. I scrapped that idea.
I haven't played that game before.
I scrapped that idea very quickly. Most of the Medal of Honor games would work, except for the ones that only released on consoles.
Yeah,
that's
console
like
Mind series are
that's
generally...
like rule number 1 of a Mind series. Do it on a computer, not on a console, by pointing a camera at the TV screen.
Oh yes, yes. If you're gonna do it on a console, use a capture device, not a cam.
Even then, I still recommend a computer because you get better head movement out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the. I mean, I have seen attempts at doing Halo, with mixed results, as you might expect.
Yeah, I remember the Emperor Simon did one episode of Master Chief's Mind, but with an Indian accent.
That was actually pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Halo might be an exception because I don't know how the replay systems work. I think, can you? So don't quote me on this, anybody. But I think you can do a replay of the campaign, and you can actually.
Wait a minute. Halo 1 and 2 were released on PC, so you could just do it that way.
Yes, but I don't think. No, they are moddable. Yeah, maybe you can. So you can probably, because to me, like the basic requirements of a Mind series, like you said, first of all, silent protagonist. Secondly, preferably in first person. I would to me personally, I would only consider first person.
Uh-huh.
It really helps if you have a way of lowering your weapon. Like
Yeah,
just like I think we got lucky with Fallout because
that's one
literally
of
it's
the
just
main
holding down.
reasons. That's one of the main reasons that I really wanted to do a mine series with Allied Assault, because you actually had the button to put your weapons away. Actually, that one just seemed to work because anytime you were climbing a ladder, your gun was automatically put away. You had the button to put it away, and I could download a mod to get rid of the health bar, the millions of messages that come up on the screen, the compass.
Unless you have a very good excuse, you should try and get rid of the HUD if you can.
The only thing I couldn't get rid of in that game was the bullets on the side of the screen, and for that I just said ignore it. Just pretend it's not there, and that actually worked out pretty well. The only downside to removing the HUD was that one level where I got hopelessly lost, and the episode ran for 20 minutes.
I think, like, I would say with the proviso, so I am very much aware that in Season 1 of Couriers, I had the HUD up the whole time, and, well, not the whole time, I actually had a mod which will only pull out the HUD if you're under attack, and the reason I did that was because I was really scared of dying halfway through recording. And bear in mind, at the start of the game, you tend to be at your weakest, and so on and so forth. But then, eventually, when I moved on to Season 2, I realized, having tried playing the game with the HUD off, you actually don't die that easily. Especially if you bind, like, stim packs to one of your hotkeys and you just keep spamming that when you're under attack. It's actually very hard to die, especially on, like, lower difficulties.
Yeah.
So, like, from that point on, I decided to just turn the HUD off completely using the console commands. But I would say, like, you should at least find out if you can turn off the HUD. And I know for a fact that Ross Scott, like, before he figured out how to put away his weapon, he actually went ahead and gone into the game files and deleted the model for one of the weapons he would never use.
It was the glue-on gun, because he wasn't going to be getting it for a while.
Yeah, so he will keep switching to that. I guess if you're really desperate, and you could potentially do that. I actually tried this with... not exactly that, but I tried something really roundabout with Doom 3 recently, actually. In Doom 3, there's no way to actually remove your gun. You can, like, properly in-game, you can switch to your fists, but you will still see your fists up.
Yeah.
So that would look kind of weird. And also, annoyingly, they removed the flashlight. That would actually have been quite useful. You could potentially, you know, after you put your gun away, hold up a flashlight, because everything is kind of dark in that game. But they don't even have that.
It's ridiculously dark.
They don't have that in the BFG edition anymore.
Well, you could just always get the old version of Doom 3. I have it around here somewhere.
Well, what I was going to say is I figured out a way. This is really convoluted, and I can foresee myself making a lot of mistakes doing this. But I basically did it so that I bound the hide all... There's actually a console command that hide all of the HUD, including your weapon model, from view. So when you activate that, everything from your HUD and all your weapon models also go. And if you press the fire key, it still fires as if there's a gun there, but it's just all hidden. But if you do that, then every time you put away a weapon, it's gonna look like suddenly his gun is just vanished into thin air. So one way I figured out how to do this, and it's really convoluted, but you will have to do it so that as you're putting your gun away, switch to a different weapon, and as he's doing that animation of putting the first gun away, immediately hit the hotkey for hiding the HUD. Like hiding the weapon model. Because then you don't see him pulling the other gun out. That's like a really roundabout way of doing it. But if you time it down perfectly, you could just about get away with that. But that kind of, you know, represents the problem of finding games. Because there are plenty of games with silent protagonist first person. Like, I think we said Bioshock, Homefront, all those games. There are loads, but if you bear in mind all the technical stuff you're going to have to deal with, this actually narrows it down quite a lot, I think. Like, I did say, like, I would love to see someone try to do a Dishonored playthrough. A mine series of Dishonored. That would be quite interesting. I don't know how realistic that would be in terms of technical aspects of it. Avoid Skyrim, like we all said.
Yeah, avoid
God's sake, that includes Oblivion. Like, don't do that unless you are like a Mine series prodigy. Just don't.
You're gonna be at it for quite a while.
You are probably not even gonna get off of episode 1 because it's just, well, episode 1 at least it's all scripted, you know, in the Helgen and whatever. But oh god, after that I don't even want to think about it. What else did we say? We came up with quite a substantial list. System Shock 2. Good fucking luck to anyone.
Oh yeah, good luck.
Actually, there's another game I didn't mention last time. Far Cry 2.
Actually, one game that would work, Homefront.
Yeah, like
I think Homefront would work. I
don't know how. Oh, that's the other thing. I swear, like every time I see this happen in the first-person game, I just think, because you know we're used to making Mind series now, I'm just thinking, man, you're just baiting us. You know how at the start of most of these games, you start off unarmed, right? You start off unarmed, so clearly the game supports a version where you don't have any weapons, and then you get your first weapon, and there's no way of lowering that anymore.
I actually really wanted to do a Mind series for Crisis 2.
Yeah, you did. You also mentioned that.
Yeah, and another one, a couple joke ones that I came up with. One of them was the Kerbal one, but I really wanted to do like one for Viscera Cleanup Detail.
Yeah.
That game, it's a game where you play the janitor after an alien invasion, and you're cleaning up after the hero.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to do one for Euro Truck Simulator 2. And one that I want to do and I still want to do, Duty Calls.
What is that? It's
a joke game. EA was making fun of Activision, and it's just this funny little game. It's like, here's your objective. Blah, 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 secret base. Blah, 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 nuclear missile, blah, 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 counting on you, utmost importance, win, good luck.
Yeah.
And every time you fire your gun, it goes boring, boring.
Oh, actually, like, while we're talking about these other games, there was the question I know it's on the list somewhere, but basically saying, like, would you consider doing other Mind series after you finish, you know, Mass Mind, Couriers Mind, etc.? We're coming up with all these ideas. That's not a promise that we would act on any of these, by the way. Like, we're just throwing ideas around.
I wanted to do a DayZ Mind series, but the HUD and everything just wouldn't work.
And also, that would again last forever.
Nah, it would just be until he died.
What if you'd like start off and you immediately get sniped?
The Top Cut series is over.
That was a short series.
Yeah,
that would make a great Easter egg, actually, like just like an Easter April Fool's joke.
All of the Call of Duty games would work, but don't do Modern Warfare 2 because everyone does one for Ghost. No, it's not Ghost. What's his face on the cliff? There's 10 million of them.
I haven't played that game.
I don't know. It's what's his face and Modern Warfare 2. There's 10 million Let's Plays of it. Also, one that I really, really, really wanted to do, and I still kind of want to do, BioShock.
Yes. BioShock.
I really want to do BioShock.
The problems with that game as a Mind series template is that, first of all, I'm not sure how to lower the weapon in that game. Secondly, the HUD is going to be a problem because you kind of need the HUD in order to know like what. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know.
You could always just like go for what I did with Pal's Mind and just ignore it.
I guess. Like I've seen one attempt at making Jack's Mind where it's actually getting along quite far. And what he did was he basically letterboxed it so that you can. So he how do we say this? He letterboxed the game, but he still left so that the HUD like so that it overlays that. So I guess the idea is if you can't handle the idea of the HUD being there, then you could physically letterbox it yourself and just pretend that they're not there. Whereas if you don't mind it, then you can still see them there. Because bearing in mind, you also have to remember that there's one problem that a lot of other Mind series makers who use this game that are not source based, there's a problem that we have to deal with, whereas like Ross Scott and the others don't have to deal with, which is the fact that if we turn off the HUD, we will have to record the footage with the HUD off. And we would have to be running around and shooting blindly, pretty much. We can't do accurate shots unless we have an iron sight mode or something like that, and we can't see our health bars.
Well, your game has iron sights.
Yeah, so I can deal with that, but I can't see my health bars for a start, and I can't see my radar. I can't see any of that. But the reason why I say Raw Scum doesn't have to deal with this, as far as I'm aware, is because, again, the way the Source engine works, you can record a demo with the stuff all there, and then you could just turn that off after you've recorded the footage. I think that's how it works. I think that's why he's never like that. I think that's how he managed to somehow do pinpoint accurate shots with the pistol. That sometimes. Because I can't imagine, like, the only alternative to that would be literally sticking something on the front of your monitor to represent the reticule.
Well, actually, that's a trick that they use in a lot of games nowadays. Is they put a piece of tape over like the TV or the monitor where
that's
like,
actually
the middle
how
is,
I did.
And they put like a little red dot on the piece of tape, and they just do that.
Yeah, that's actually how, like, just fun fact. That's how I tried to do that Metroid. Machinima to begin with, because I knew I had to letterbox the footage. So to remind myself where the boundaries would be, I literally stuck tape on the television so that I would, so I don't walk in too far, too close to the characters, and when you end up doing the letterbox, you cut off half their face or something like that. It's a very low-tech way of doing it, but, it works.
It works.
Yeah. But yeah, any other Mind series potential?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No. Bioshock Infinite would have been quite funny if it was a silent protagonist.
Actually, yeah.
It would have been quite funny. Well, it wouldn't work because
I was actually terrified of Bioshock Infinite when it was first coming out, because I thought the whole thing was going to be an escort mission.
No, they did very well at
They did very well with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... I didn't actually think of it that way, but looking back on it, they could have messed it up so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, should we move on?
Yeah. You just do one more? I'd imagine it's getting pretty late for you over there.
Yeah, it's like midnight now. We'll do one more, and then we'll call it a day and carry on tomorrow or something.
Okay. Actually, I'm busy tomorrow, so...
Or the day after, like this is
day after I'm streaming.
Yeah, like we say.
That I'm streaming.
Whenever we're next available.
I have no idea.
We could just upload this and then have an episode 2 whenever we're ready.
Yeah, like what they did with the second meeting of the minds.
Yeah, I think that might be best.
On this.
We could just turn this into like whenever we have time, just do a podcast.
Like
which is what this is at this point, to be honest. Yeah, have fun rendering all of this.
I'm probably gonna cut this into hour-long segments.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Oh yeah. So last question. Just so you know, I still have like at least 12.
Oh, I got plenty.
Just have to find one that's interesting as a last question. Oh, I mean, we've answered this the first time we tried this, but inspirations. Nah. Actually, that was a terrible one to finish, because that's going to be long. God, alright, let's just do it.
Ah, crap.
Do you want me to start instead? No,
not that. I just forgot to put up the Minecraft server.
Oh God.
It was supposed to be up,
you see, unlike
2 hours ago.
Unlike Hunter, I don't have that many other sort of responsibilities when it comes to maintaining, the whole channel and stuff.
It's not just the channel with me. It was I do a fucking. There's a DeviantArt page. There's the Tumblr. There's my Twitter now. Freaking the weekly live stream. Oh my God, I am the busiest person in the world, and that's not funny.
Do you make money off of any of this? Cause
Hunter reviews, I'm trying to make a living off of that.
Right.
Like, it is
Are you allowed to by the? Do they let you do that?
It's a review. It's covered by fair use.
Fair enough.
People have asked me, is Matt's Mind monetized? No, it's not. I have to get permission from Bethesda in order to do anything with Bethesda game footage that's monetized.
Yeah. Bearing in mind, even Ross Scott doesn't monetize his Freeman's Mind series.
No, I'm pretty sure he has an actual job.
Probably. I don't know. He doesn't mention it.
I don't know.
Oh, and just while you were setting up your server, a lot.
No, it's already
for
up.
the last time. Oh, okay.
I just gotta push a button.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So inspirations?
Well, obviously Freeman's Mind, because that's what gave everyone the general idea. The masterminds were also a heavy inspiration, like IRA Mighty Pirate or Crimson YT or those folks over there.
Cyanide.
Yeah, the Cyanide. You're all dead. Actually, no.
Well,
Ian is actually doing stuff. I looked at his channel recently. He actually commented on episode 39 recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
apparently he said he liked it.
Oh, well, you know. That's a bit of a difference from the last time they...
Yeah. Matt's mind
let's move on from that.
Yeah, my shows have been on Out of Our Minds twice.
Twice?
Twice.
I know
one was a Pal's Mind episode, the other one was Mike's Mind the movie, which I'm not particularly proud of that movie anymore, by the way. Not because they riffed on it hardcore, but because but it just it wasn't handled very well, and
You see, I was terrified that they would do an episode on my one, but they haven't. I have a feeling that's more because they just don't know I exist. I'll be honest with you.
Actually, I think it's more along the lines of they stopped doing the series.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Having said that, I think one of them did comment on the first ever episode I did. This was ages ago. This was the guy who makes Freeman's Ish Mind.
I did a crossover with him. Or
did you?
Collaboration. He played the voice of the Brotherhood of Steel knight at the Washington Monument who wouldn't open the door.
Ah, nice. I think he's cancelled his series.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them have just cancelled their shows. Like,
well, I mean, Shepherd's Mind's finished.
Shepherd's Mind was supposed to have a season 2, but Opposing Force 2 never got off the ground.
Yeah, so
like, they had demos, but they just stopped.
There's not much he can do about that.
No.
Body's Mind is finished. I think Ian is now doing. Last time I checked, he's doing Alien vs Predator.
Yeah, he was doing an Alien vs Predator.
Yeah,
2,
but then that's stalled as well.
That's stopped.
Yeah.
Not sure if he wants to pick that back up again. Now he's doing Let's Play. Shell's Mind has been dead.
Oh, Shell's Mind is infamous for this
since the beginning.
We will not like, you know, pressure Cyanide into making new episodes because that's just cruel. Parker's Mind, I'm not overly familiar with, but apparently that's finished.
Parker's Mind finished up its first season. It was supposed to have a season 2. It didn't. I've noticed something. Mind's seasons are infamous for not having a second season.
Except
for ours.
6 seasons.
Except for ours.
Yes.
There must be something about the Fallout games.
I think it's more to do with the fact that they try to time their seasons with other games, like, you know, the next game in the franchise, which it's like a whole separate project.
Well, actually, with Parker's Mind, he was going to be doing a completely different game, but
yeah,
because you can't really do anything with Red Faction 2.
Oh, is it not first person or something?
No, it's first person. It's just a completely different character other than Parker, and it's short as hell.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Red Faction.
But the big inspiration came from, obviously, my fans, but probably the biggest piece of inspiration was Fallout Equestria again, and the other Fallout Equestria fanfic, Project Horizons, which is still fucking going after chapter, what, 80-something? No idea.
I had no idea this was such a massive thing.
I've heard of
Fallout Squaria before, but
every chapter goes for like 30 pages.
Jesus.
And it's still going. The main character's on the freaking moon.
Well,
Good God!
to be
no,
fair,
that was a
Van wouldn't put us in space.
huge inspiration for me because that inspired me. Like, okay, maybe I should actually start taking this series a bit more seriously. And that was the series where I actually started to like wrap things up. Like that was episode 16, I believe. It was the episode where he just left Super Duper Mart and he's heading off to I think Galaxy News Radio. I don't know. But even then, I still managed to do the Mothership Zeta arc in there, so got that out of the way. And now pretty much all DLC in Fallout in our playthrough is completed, except Broken Steel, obviously. But I'm
on the other hand, I'm just basically baiting the fans, like not doing the DLCs. Well, no, I'm not deliberately baiting people. I actually know when I'm gonna do the DLCs, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah.
But okay. So like inspiration for the characters.
Matt, I think he was more inspired by Powell. And Powell was just inspired by me being pissed off all the time. But again, when Fallout Equestria came out, I decided that I wanted to give him a ton more emotion. Actually, I planned it from the start that he was going to have the whole change of heart bits and everything. And it was going, I knew from the start I was going to make it an emotional roller coaster. But a lot of people ask me, what was the idea for Mike? And my answer to that is, I don't fucking know. I can't remember what inspired Mike. I think it was just one day I had made up this fake character that lived in the Pip-Boy, and it was an AI and everything. And I just decided to throw that into the series. And I don't remember how I decided on his computer voice. I think it was just because his name is Mike. It's a Microsoft Mike. But I do not know how Mike came to be.
To be fair, that is quite unique to your series, because I have not seen any other Mine series with two main characters.
I like having the two main characters because it gives me a bit more versatility. The original idea for Mike was purely a conversation piece, so that he's not talking to himself while walking through the wasteland, which would have made
that's kind of what Eddie is in my series, except with Eddie he doesn't speak English. He just have his beeps. And actually a lot of people ask me, does the Courier actually understand what Eddie is saying? And my answer to that is, Eddie serves, as far as conversation goes, he's like R2-D2 in Star Wars. Like, nobody other than the main character seems to know what he's saying.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's like,
that's basically the way I look at it. Although having said that, sorry for derailing this, but originally my idea would be that the Courier doesn't actually know what Eddie is saying. He's just pretending that he thinks he knows what he's saying, but it's actually just what he wants to hear. So I would have it so that
okay, there's a line that I actually want you to do with Eddie now that you've mentioned this.
Okay.
I want to turn to Eddie and be like, "Hey Eddie, I have a question for you. What's 9,869,273 times 600,568,522?"
Yeah. Or just like 3 divided by 0 or something. I'll tell you right now exactly what I would have him do in response, although I don't know how I would do. Actually, no, I know how I would do this. I would have him so that as a response, he would pause for 2 seconds, and then immediately turn hostile. You immediately start shooting the Courier. That's exactly what I would have Eddie do.
Error!
He doesn't even give a shit. No, Eddie is like he's too smart to be glitched out by a paradox. Instead, he'd just be like, "No, fuck this. I don't want to work with you anymore."
Nope, I'm done.
I don't know if people has noticed. I try to subtly invoke this. So to begin with, when the Courier first met Eddie was like quite naive in a way. Like he didn't like it when the Courier stole things. He didn't like it when Courier looted dead bodies, for instance. and that was really I think I might have gone too heavy with it in season 3, but that was the idea. But as time goes on, he sort of gives up. Like he doesn't quite make noises anymore every time the courier does something illegal. Like by this point, Eddie is kind of fed up with the courier.
He's just like, okay, I'm not even
yeah, I
gonna
know you're gonna
bother.
do.
I'm not even gonna bother with you, all
yeah,
right?
exactly. At this point, unless the courier does something horrifically bad, he's not even gonna bother him. Like, the Eddie would just be like, just don't castrate him. Please don't castrate him. Like he'll be, that's literally how far he's gotten. I try to give them like sort of character developments. As
oh yeah, and speaking of followers, real quick question. As someone asked what happened to Jericho. He's gone. I don't know where he went. We sort of just left him at the Citadel, and then we just never bothered to get him again. We ended up getting Fox. And if you have Fox as a freaking follower,
yeah.
you are no longer the adventurer. Fox is the adventurer. That guy can't die.
Yeah, so you have Broken Steel installed. I think Broken Steel has this quirk where characters like Fox and Dogmeat just become ridiculously tanky.
Yeah,
they become virtually indestructible.
I've managed to keep Dogmeat alive so far. Actually, the last time I saw Dogmeat, it was that tunnel right before Liberty Prime got blown up. I think I'm gonna have to go over to the Mothership Zeta thing to get everyone back. Oh no, wait! I just did Point Lookout, so the followers would have returned to the thing.
So this question is like purely on my part, but is Matt currently like? I know like you have different ways of interpreting the character, but technically speaking, is he an evil character at the moment?
No,
because otherwise, how did he get Jericho?
He started out pretty evil, but then he had a turnaround.
Okay.
And to get Jericho, this was like the one time I entered console combats. I gave myself minus 1,000 karma, and then once I got him, like once I left the town, just added it back in again.
Right, because I think if you fire him and then try to rehire him, it does a second check of your.
Yeah, it does. Karma. Which is why I haven't gone back and gotten him.
You could just redo that. Yeah, you could do that again.
It's why I haven't gone back and gotten him. Like, he can have that power armor. He can have the outcast power armor. I don't care anymore.
Notice how they don't need power armor training.
Yeah.
Where did he get the training?
That was one of the main things that people asked with the Anchorage arc. At the end, he got the winterized power armor. And everyone asked, how is he able to put that on? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
to be fair, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think, like, if you got to that bit before you've actually met the Brotherhood of Steel, you automatically gain the perk or something where you pick up the winterized armor?
I
think you do.
Though right now, my current excuse is that the T-51B power armor is a bit more up-to-date than all the power armor that they're using in this game. To use. Like, it's easier to use. Which, that headcanon's gonna be thrown out the window when we get to New Vegas.
Yeah. Wow. Hold on a second. What was it? Are we still on inspiration?
Yeah.
So do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so yeah, so this is probably the last thing we're gonna do. Oh, we're coming up to 4 hours. Holy crap! On Skype, anyway.
Yeah, it's
there was a bit of setup.
3:49.
Yeah, oh god. Right. So for me, very much Freeman's Mind inspired. I did watch some of. Hello?
Yeah?
What? I just heard some Skype just made a noise.
I don't know.
I hope that wasn't us. I don't think
I didn't hear anything.
It sounded like the call ended. But anyways, I didn't really watch any of the. No, I did watch some of Shepherd's Mind, but they didn't really influence me much. It was mostly Freeman's Mind, and my earliest idea of what the Courier is going to be like as a character was actually supposed to be a blend of David Tennant's performance as the Doctor and the Joker, which I don't know. I don't think I managed to get that across, but that was in the back of my head when I first wrote the character. Like, the lines was written in such a way, but I could only voice act to a certain degree. But I think over time it's managed to sort of mutate into its own character, which is it's actually a good thing. I think it's good to have a character that organically change as the time goes on. I do like how one of my viewers actually said that the Courier sounds a bit like he whinges all the time, he whines all the time, which I guess is kind of true, but he does have a point a lot of the times. Like, the NCR really doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and most of the time they really don't pay you very well. Like, for instance, I think in the Kambakarian quest line where you hunt down fiends, which have been harassing them for ages, the pay you get is about the same as the pay you get for hiring prostitutes in Freeside, which gives you an idea of how badly you're paid. But anyways, so as of right now, I don't really have necessarily a inspiration anymore when I'm writing the series. Although sometimes if I see something really funny in other shows, I might get influenced slightly by their style of humor. One more thing I should probably add. The whole Joker idea, even though that didn't really last, one thing did last through. One thing that is definitely still true, which is the Courier is insane. I don't know if I managed to get that across yet. I mean, okay, everybody in Fallout are kill crazy, but he is insane, right? He took 2 bullets to the head. He's not quite right in the head anymore. So when people ask me, is the Courier speaking out loud, or is he thinking? And we're just hearing his thoughts. My answer is he thinks he's only thinking in his head, but actually he's speaking out loud. And all of his companions are like, yeah, this guy is kind of crazy, but he's kind of doing what we want him to do, and he seems to be able to hold off all the other raiders and bad things in the world. So we're gonna stick with him for now, but as soon as he turns a gun on us, we're just gonna leave. So that's basically what he is right now. So that's the end of that question. How much do you still have on your list?
A lot, but a lot of it is questions from my other shows that I'm not really gonna get into right now.
Okay, fair enough. Some of mine are actually just repeats of what we had before, so that's good. So I think we could probably do one more, like an hour-long video, but for the time being, should we call it a night?
Yes.
Yeah, it is now 12 in the morning for me.
7:23 over here.
Yeah, so boy, 4 hours on Skype. How long's the video?
The video's going for 3 hours 53 minutes.
Good lord.
I'm gonna cut that into hour segments and just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're gonna make another follow-up eventually, but
eventually.
before we go, just want to say thanks to everyone who subscribed and viewed and stuck with me and put up with my delays. And thanks to everyone who's contributed to the series.
And I would like to thank everyone, like literally everyone, all my subscribers, my writing team, my friends who help me commentate on the live streams. You guys make this all possible. I have never been this focused in my life. Like,
that is very true. I can actually tell you right now, this show has helped me on finding a job, because now for the first time I can actually say something when they ask me, what kind of things do you do in your spare time, or what kind of like projects have you done in your life. I could actually quote this show.
Yeah.
And I could tell them now I have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So they actually take that sort of thing seriously now. Believe it or not.
We're pushing 4,000.
Yeah, well, it's not just, it's a part of our life, frankly.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not just some silly things that we do on YouTube, even though I'm pretty sure our parents think it is. I know my mother certainly thinks it's a silly thing.
My parents do not care for
At least you're not killing people for a profit, unlike the sniper. Anyways, so I think that's gonna be it for us from us for the time being. We do still have some questions that we haven't answered, but
yeah, we'll probably do this in another year or so.
well, or like I guess if you have anything you desperately want us to know, then leave it in the comments,
Yeah,
and
the
we
comments.
might end up like answering them in our own ways. But I'm pretty sure one of these days we'll do another podcast.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm just gonna call it a podcast now because it is. Right. Well, that's it from me and Hunter. So good night, everyone. Keep watching Courier's Mind and Matt's Mind.
Watch it or the terrorists will win.